All right, hello fourth graders and fourth grader parents, guardians, teachers, whoever. I'm looking at page 191, lesson 6-1, extended division facts. This could be a quick one. Now before we start, I'm going to refresh some memories. We've been talking all year about knowing this trick. We know that 2, I'm just going to pick a few numbers at random. We know 2 times 4 equals 8, right? But if I ask you, how about 2 times 40? We know a trick, right? We can still do 2 times 4. But what do we need to do? Yeah, we need to add this 0 to the end. Very helpful for solving large number story problems that end with 0 very quickly. Just the same, we also know that 2 times, let's say 40,000. Again, 2 times 4 equals 8. And then we'll have to add 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros to our answer. Okay, so that's the multiplication version. Today we're doing the division version. So they have these little division multiplication triangles. We're going to kind of focus on the basic facts at hand here. So let's take a look at number 1. They handed you a piece of it already. They already gave you the basic fact, 24 divided by 8. What they're basically asking is, how many 8s can you fit into 24? And this is where knowing your times tables is so important, because a lot of you, if you know your 8s, you know you can go 8, 16, 24. That is 3 8s. 24 divided by 8 is 3. But now we're going to do the fun part. If you look down to the extended fact, if we know 24 divided by 8 is 3, that means we're also going to know 240 divided by 8. And we're going to start it the same way. We're going to look at 24 divided by 8. It's still 3. But now we're going to have to add on 1 0. And you're going to get 30. And you can double check your work by doing the following. You can take your answer, multiply him by this second number, and if everything worked out well, 30 times 8 should equal this guy. And we know 8 times 3 is 24. Then you add the 0, and that's going to equal 240. Okay, so you can divide, but then you can also check your work using multiplication. That's why division and multiplication go hand in hand so well. So let's take a look at number 2. This time we're dealing with, I notice a 280 up top, and looks like we have a 4 down below. So you can look at the pattern that we started on number 1, what they did for us. They took the 240, they broke it down to a basic fact of 24 and divided it by 8. So let's break this one down. We're going to take the 280 and break them down to a basic fact. Let's get rid of the 0 to start with, just so we can get a basic fact to work with. That's going to be 28 divided by 4 equals. And again, depending how well you know your division, you may already know 28 divided by 4 in your head. Another way to think about it is what times 4 would equal 28? And I know that 7 times 4 equals 28. So that also means that 28 divided by 4 will go into 28 7 times. It's like 4 touchdowns in a football game will get you 28 points as long as you hit the extra point. So now let's go to the actual extended fact. Let's go back to the original 280. divided by 4 equals. And in this case, we already know first digit's going to be 7. Second digit, we know we need to bring this 0 in here. Swing them on over. Okay, and you're going to get 280 divided by 4 equals 70. You can check your work. 7 times 4 is 28. Add that 0. It'll get you back to our very first number. Now, I'm not going to do any more right now from page 191. I don't want to give too much away. I want you to be able to try some on your own. But I am going to kind of skip up here for a minute and give you a hypothetical here. I'm going to take the same number and we're going to mix it up. I'm going to change things up. I'm going to go 280, but I'm not going to divide by 4. I'm going to divide by 40. This is just a bonus for you to look out for in the future. If you feel like you got it and you're good, you can go ahead and pause the video or stop right now. But this might help you on, it looks like number 4. That's the only one that I see that really fits on here. Now with 280 divided by 40, you'll notice that we don't just have a 0 in our first number here, we also have a 40 in the second. Excuse me, a 0 in the second. So we're still going to solve by using the basic fact first. We know 28 divided by 4, we've done this a lot. It's 7. But you might be tempted here, like, oh, okay, well, looks like we need to add 2 zeros to the end to get 700. But we know that would not make sense. 700 times 40 would be way more than 280. Okay, in this case, what we need to do, if you see a 0 here and a 0 here, they cancel each other out. They cancel each other out. So in this case, really, you're left with just 7. And we can check it. 7 times 4 is 28. And we'll add that 0, and it would equal 280. I'll give you one more. This is almost super advanced. If you're still with me, this is crazy. I'm going to go 2,800 divided by 40. Now in this case, again, we're going to add that 7 to begin with. We know 28 divided by 4 is 7. In this case, we can only cancel out what we match. So I see 1 0 here. That means we can cancel out 1 0 here. But look what we're still left with. We're still left with a 0. So if you've already canceled a 0 out per side and you still have 1 left, now you can swing him over and add him to the end. Again, that last 2 minutes or so, it might be kind of confusing. You might need to go back and double check. I don't know how often it will come up. Like I said, you'll be able to see that in number 4 at least. But just know if you have zeros on both sides, basically, you can cancel them out as long as they're matching. You got 1 here, get rid of them. But down here we had 2, so 2 and 1, so we can only cross out 1 0 per side. Okay, if you have any questions, if that blew your mind, if that's too much, email me, leave a comment, whatever you need to do. All right, guys.